Welcome to another episode of the Expert Digital AI podcast, where we deep dive into artificial intelligence, generative AI, and digital transformation.
All right, so everyone wants to talk about AI ethics these days, right?
Yeah, that's a hot topic for sure.
It really is. It's like everywhere you turn. Self-driving cars, algorithms deciding what news you see, you know. It's a lot.
It really is. And it's not just theoretical anymore either, right? This is impacting people's lives right now, today.
Exactly. And that's why we're diving into this LinkedIn article by Rick Spare called Why AI Ethics is the Next Big Thing.
Great article.
Yeah, have you seen this one?
Yeah.
I found it really thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Because it really drives home the point that this isn't some sci-fi future we're talking about.
Right.
This is about the very real choices being made right now that are shaping how AI develops.
Yeah.
So before we get too deep into the weeds here, let's define some things. What exactly is AI ethics? Because I'll admit, it can sound a bit intimidating, like something only computer science PhDs need to worry about.
Right. It can feel very technical, but at its heart, it's actually pretty straightforward.
Quite.
It's about making sure that we're using AI responsibly, that it's not harming people, that it's used for good.
Okay, that makes sense.
For example, think about AI being used in healthcare. We want those algorithms to be making diagnoses based on good data, right?
Right.
Not perpetuating biases that already exist.
Oh, absolutely. A misdiagnosis because an algorithm wasn't trained properly. That's scary stuff.
Exactly. And it's not just healthcare. Spare talks about this too. Finance, criminal justice. These are all areas where AI is already having a big impact.
Huge implications for fairness and equality, right?
Exactly. Imagine, for instance, an AI system that's being used for loan applications, but it was trained on data that unfairly disadvantaged certain groups.
Oh, man. Talk about reinforcing existing inequalities. That's the opposite of what we want.
Right. And Spare gives this really powerful example of facial recognition systems. Imagine those systems being predominantly trained on white faces.
Okay, yeah.
What happens? Misidentification, bias, all because the data itself was flawed from the beginning.
So we're talking about building safeguards into the very DNA of AI, right?
Exactly.
Making sure it's not just powerful, but also ethical in how it operates.
Yes, precisely. And this is where things get really interesting because it's not just about the tech itself, right?
Right.
It's about the people behind it, the choices they're making, the values they bake into these systems.
It's like that old saying, right? Garbage in, garbage out.
Exactly.
If you train an AI on biased data, well, you're going to get biased results.
Yeah.
It's not magic.
Right. And that's why this whole field of AI ethics is so important. We need people who are thinking about these things, asking the tough questions.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of all this new tech.
Right.
But we have to make sure we're not just blindly racing towards progress without considering the consequences.
Exactly.
Okay, so you've convinced me. Ethical AI is super important. But what if I'm listening to this and I'm like, okay, I want to get involved, but I don't know the first thing about coding.
Yeah.
What are my options? Do I need to go back to school for like a decade? Become some kind of coding ninja?
Actually, no. That's the really cool thing about this field. You don't need to be a tech genius to make a difference. In fact, Spare talks about this in the article.
Okay.
He says AI ethics needs a diverse range of skills. We're talking ethicists, policy analysts, consultants, communicators.
Wait, hold on. Break it down for me. What do those jobs actually look like in practice? Like, what does an AI ethicist do all day?
Sure. So an AI ethicist is kind of like the conscience of an AI development team.
Okay.
They're there to anticipate ethical dilemmas, challenge assumptions, make sure that the AI being built aligns with human values.
So they're not necessarily writing the code themselves, but they're deeply involved in shaping how that code is used and what it's used for.
Exactly.
Oh.
And then you have AI policy analysts. They're working on a much broader level, like researching the societal impact of AI, advocating for responsible AI regulation, advising policymakers.
Wow. So you've got folks working on the ground level within tech companies and then others working on a bigger picture scale to shape the whole landscape of AI development. It's like a multi-pronged approach.
Exactly. And it's not just about the policy wonks and the ethicists either. We also need communicators.
Oh, right. To translate all this complex stuff for the rest of us.
Exactly. Because one of the biggest challenges in AI ethics is bridging that gap between the tech world and the general public.
Totally. We need to be able to talk about this stuff in a way that everyone understands, not just the engineers and the coders.
Right, because at the end of the day, AI ethics isn't just a tech issue, it's a societal issue.
It's amazing though, right? Like all the different ways that people can get involved with this, it really feels like there's a place for everyone, even if you're not, a coding whiz.
Totally. And Spare actually lays that out really well in the article. He talks about all the different pathways.
Okay.
He talks about how more and more universities are offering these programs in AI ethics,
Right.
which is great. But he also talks about like online courses and certifications,
Yeah, for sure.
if you don't have time for a full degree,
Totally.
you can still learn these skills.
In organizations like that partnership on AI that he mentioned.
Yes. Those are fantastic resources.
Yeah.
They've got it all, like courses, workshops, reports.
It's really impressive.
It is. But, even beyond the formal education stuff, I think just being aware, right? Like paying attention to how algorithms are shaping your experiences already. Just asking those questions.
Yes, that's so important. Because it's easy to feel powerless, right? Like it's this big tech thing that's happening to us. We don't have any control.
Totally.
But we do.
We absolutely do.
AI is a tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to make sure it's used ethically.
It is. It's about taking ownership.
Yeah.
It's not about just accepting whatever AI throws at us. It's about shaping its development.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, we've covered so much ground today.
Yeah.
But as we kind of wrap up our deep dive here, is there any final thought that you'd want to leave our listeners with?
Final thought. How about this? If we could program AI with some kind of, universal ethical principles, what would those be?
Oh, wow.
And who gets to decide?
Yeah,
It's a big question.
it really is.
But it's something we all need to be thinking about because the future of AI is not predetermined. It's being written right now. And we all have a say.
So well said. It's about making sure that this incredibly powerful technology that we're building reflects the best of humanity, not the worst. So stay curious, everyone. Stay engaged. And let's build a better future with AI.